guys, Asher coming at you today in Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm glad to have you all here with me today, talking a little bit of Watcher, sending some positive vibes, some love your way, especially if you need it out there today. Probably a fast video today, but I had to kind of bring the conversation that's happening in the community here on the channel to A, inform you guys, and B, get your opinions, and maybe C, provide a little bit of feedback through the old YouTube video to the developer Moonton regarding a bit of, I don't know, hot water might be a little bit of an overstatement, but certainly a bit of community drama surrounding a decision that had been data mined, actually. I want to give full credit out the gate here to Seamus the Hug Monster. I love the name. I'll link his YouTube channel for you guys in the comments or in the show notes below, as well as our friend Fastidious, right? They did all the research here. They have all the numbers. They did all the data mining. I'm just here as a delivery boy in today's video because I wanted to, again, spread the word about this. I think it's the least that we can do as content creators inside the game. Before we get into the controversial decision, I kind of want to ask you guys, especially the viewers out there who are coming from Raid, right? How do you feel? It's always sat kind of awkwardly with me in the game. How do you feel about different summon rates in this game, depending on the hero, the power of the hero? For example, Hatsu has always had kind of her own category. Ardia, kind of the same thing, where they're a little bit more difficult or a lot more difficult to get than your average hero. They also just so happen to be some of the most powerful heroes in the game. Now, I'm coming from a game in Raid where, yes, there's different shards, different ways to summon heroes or champions that's more expensive. It's kind of like the ancient system where it's more expensive. It's kind of the whale mechanic, voids and mythical in Raid, right? And in that summoning mechanism, that vehicle, that shard or that stone or whatever, that dictates, you know, the likelihood to pull legendary. There are no, what I'm trying to say in a convoluted way, there is no specific odds for a specific champion in Raid. Well, that is absolutely not the case in this game, and they just made, as I said, a very controversial decision to nerf the pull rates, the summon rates on some of the most powerful heroes inside the game. Now, these are heroes that a lot of you guys have been disagreeing with me over the whole nerf conversation, right? I've had a whole video talking about buffs and talking about nerfs. Really, to summarize, I'm not generally in favor of nerfs in this game. Agree to disagree if you disagree. But on buffs, my big point was, and of course a lot more agreement on this video, my big point in that video was, honestly, there's a lot of legendaries in this game that deserve buffs or reworks, right? And I was really calling on them to do that, right? To do that as a routine thing that they do to improve and maintain the health of this game, right? And the balance of this game. So, okay, that's level setting where we are. But they made an interesting decision. Instead of nerfing these super powerful heroes, they've actually nerfed the summon rates. So now they're just as powerful, but they're a lot more difficult to get. They're actually 2 times more difficult to get based on the data that Fastidious and Seamus were able to aggregate for us. So I will show you, again, I will link both those videos if you really want to dive into the numbers, and I would encourage you guys to go ahead and do exactly that. But here you go. This is Fastidious' most recent video where he talks about the Ardia summon rate nerf, excuse me, right? So Ardia is basically, her drop rates are going to be doubled on the next banner, right? You can see he breaks it all down, the Twin Fiend Admiral Claw 10x, if I can speak, and you can kind of go there and he breaks down the summon rates where they used to be and what they are now, okay? And then a couple days ago, he shared all the same info for, you can see Silas and Comet. And actually, before I even click, and you guys, again, give him some love, check out the actual video and give credit where credit is due. But if I asked you guys, who are the top, I don't know, 5 non-Lord champions in Watcher of Realms? Odds are your responses would probably include at least a few of Silas, Hatsuit, Boreas, and I don't know, maybe Ardia, right? Those are just 4. You know, I think they're all top 5 heroes in the game. Comet, right? Comet. There's 5. And you know, top 5, top 10, top 15, whatever. They're top heroes in the game. So we already know that Hatsuit was always kind of in a weird class of her own in terms of very challenging to get your hands on, which really didn't make a lot of sense, but it's always been the way it is, and I guess I'm a fool for never mentioning it, but I've always thought it was weird to have individual summon rates on more powerful heroes. Like, intuitively, I get it. It makes sense. They're really good, so they should be more difficult to get, but that's why we have Ancients, right? I don't feel like it's really fair to have different rates depending on the power. That just, it creates a situation where we're just pulling a bunch of crappy legendaries that they're not buffing, and no one wants that, right? So anyway, obviously a lot of chatter around the big blue fella, right? Boreas is insanely good. So what do? They basically gave the Hatsuit treatment to Boreas, to Silas, to Ardia, and to Comet. Poor Comet, man. Poor Comet. So these 4 heroes are now roughly double as difficult to summon, right, on these banners, right? So it's a very interesting decision, and it's honestly quite a bummer. This is a developer who's been listening to the community every step along the way. This is a developer who's been very, very receptive to not just listen to feedback, but also to implement solutions to community pain points almost immediately. Now, this information wasn't announced anywhere. I have not seen this anywhere inside the game. There's no news section. There's no whatever newsletter explaining why they did this, right? I think all we're left to be able to think at this point, at least me, is these are super powerful heroes. They didn't go in and obviously, change any of the rates of other heroes. I should say, though, just in aggregate, a lot of other crappy legendaries are more crappy than these. They're going to be a little bit bumped up just by virtue that these are bumped down, if that makes sense to you guys, right? And again, if you want to see all the rates and all the changes, check out those other videos that I'll link in the description below. But I just wanted to make a video about this because look at, I want to see some community reaction here. Listen, WR just officially nerfed rates on the top 3 heroes. Extremely concerning change, right? So they go down here. Just some of the feelings. Personally, feeling like having weighted rates to begin with is scummy as is. Now, purposely making most wanted champs harder to get. Definitely the beginning of the end for me. Oh boy. We have Tony, who I know is watching this video. Nothing against Boreas. However, as someone who doesn't own him, I have to literally avoid him in everywhere basically PvP. So I understand that as well, obviously. And basically unanimously, why don't all heroes have exactly the same chance, right? Just differentiating from lords. Now we need to be lucky, and we need to be more than that. This is disheartening, especially for free-to-play players. Great and important video to get the information out there so people know what to expect when pulling a legendary. So many comments of people just, a lot of people wanting that nerf to Boreas specifically, but not wanting this. This just makes him even more annoying to go against. Now listen, I have, as you saw, I have all of these heroes on my account, right? And I pulled them all when the rates were actually normal. They were actually, somewhat not easy to get, but easier. Now, it makes it even worse. It makes the situation even worse right now. Now they're harder to get, but more annoyingly OP. People, please make noise about this on Discord, on Reddit, in-game, whatever, wherever. This is an extremely bad sign of possible things to come. Nothing stops them from nerfing the rate of a hero when they get a 10x or a new content comes out and all of a sudden someone like Absan is good. This is true. What if Absan, for example, what if all of a sudden he's a beast? They could just go in there, instead of nerfing him because of new content that makes him really good, they could just go in there and tweak his rates without telling anybody, right? It's not cool. It's really not cool. And this is honestly, this Rob comment here is make some noise about this, please on Discord, Reddit, is why I'm making this video, because I think that I want to also spread the news to you guys so you're aware of these changes, because you wouldn't be otherwise. And also to make a little bit of noise about this. I want at the very least, I think it's fair to expect a little bit of developer transparency when they make changes like this, right? Moonton is above all other gacha companies, usually in communication, transparency, and generosity. But this one move is single-handedly more devious, than even the stuff that Plarium pulls. Make some noise and don't spend till they're forced to fix this. So yeah, obviously the reactions are emotional, rightfully so, out there. People disappointed because this is really the first sign, hopefully the last. I don't think the last, but probably the first sign of something that just doesn't sit very well with me and a lot of players out there. Would love to hear what you guys think, both about, this specific issue right now, and also about just the different summon rates in legendary heroes and epic heroes for that matter in general. Are you a fan? Is anybody a fan? I can't imagine a lot of you guys are like, yes, we want different summon rates on good heroes. Anybody tolerate it? Anybody okay with it? I would love to hear some opinions out there who also disagree with me. Much love, guys. That's the news. Solution is they revert or they give us some communication, in my opinion. Kind of disappointing, to say the least, right, guys? Thanks for watching till the end. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.